Hello and welcome back. In this video, we'll explore variables and data types in Python. Understanding variables and data types is crucial for writing effective code, as they form the building blocks of any programming language. So before we get started, we should have our PyCharm open, the IDE we installed in an earlier video, and we should have the project that we created open as well. In the top left here, we have the project name, which is a folder, and we want to right click it, new, and then file. Now, because we're doing variables and data types, and you may use these files as reference in future, we should call it variables underscore data underscore types dot py. Hit enter. Now, in this project, we have a new file here called variables datatypes.py that you just created. So I'm just going to make my text a bit bigger here. 24. Okay, that should be better. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to leave a comment at the top of this file. So what we need to do is hashtag, which begins a Python comment. And yeah, stick with me here and follow this. We are going to write in variables and data types. So hashtag space comment. As you can see, it's somewhat grayed out. Comments in Python are used for explaining maybe some complex code or just explaining what some code does, and it's also useful for your future colleagues that you may work with to understand the code that you've written much more easily and quickly. It is good practice to leave Python comments. I don't think there's such thing as writing too many comments, but I'm yet to see that anyway. In my job. So with variables and data types written as the comment at the top, we can leave that as the title of this file. So moving on, the variables are used to store data in a program. Think of a variable as a container that holds a value, which you can later access, modify, or use in calculations. To create a variable, you simply assign a value to a name using the equal sign. So let's take a look at a few examples. Let's type in name equals, and we are doing quotes. So it could be single quotes or double quotes. We'll put in a name. Let's put in Andy. Hit enter for a new line, and we'll do age equals 24. Let's do height. Height equals 5.9. And we'll also do is underscore married equals true. So what do we have here? We have four variables. We have name, age, height, and is married. And we have assigned them values. Andy, 24, 5.9, is married, true. So these are our variable names, which are storing these values. Okay. Notice that we didn't have to declare the variable type beforehand, as Python automatically infers the type based on the value assigned. So Python has several built-in data types, including integers, floating point numbers, strings, and booleans. Let's discuss each one of them in detail. So here we have a string. This is text that is inside quotes. So Python will see this as text. So you can really, inside these quotes, you can really write anything here. Any special characters, plus sign, asterisks for times. It doesn't matter. Python will see it the same. Here we have an integer, which is a whole number, 24. Here we have a float, also known as a floating point number, which is 5.9. And here we have a boolean. A boolean is true or false. So to help make this stick, I think we should do a comment after each of these lines. So what we'll do is after Andy, we'll space, hashtag, this is a string. And on age, space, hashtag, this is an integer. We should probably capitalize these. Okay, and the same here. This is a float. And here, space, hashtag, this is a boolean. Okay. So, integers, again, they are whole numbers without a decimal point. They can be positive, negative, or 0. So, for example, count equals 56 is an integer. Floating point numbers. Floating point numbers or floats are numbers with a decimal point. They can represent real numbers, including fractions and decimals. Let's go with an example. So we can say pi equals 3.14159, and that is a float, as we know, because there's a decimal place. Strings are a sequence of characters, including letters, numbers, and symbols, as we saw. They are created by enclosing characters or in single or double quotes, such as if we wrote down a new variable, greeting equals quote, hello. Okay, and of course we have booleans. So we know what a boolean is, true or false. So if we did another one, we could say is underscore admin equals false. Okay. Booleans represent true or false values, as we know, and are commonly used in conditional statements and comparisons. So what we're going to do now to wrap up this lecture is we are going to use the type function, which is a built-in function with Python, and it enables us to find out the data type of a variable. So let's see it in action. So we can get rid of these extra ones we've done down here, and we are going to do we are going to create a space underneath name, and we are going to write print, print, and then inside that parentheses type, another parentheses, and we are going to do name. At the end of that line, let's make a space, and we'll do the same for age. So print type age, and we'll do the same for height. Print type height, and we'll do the same for is married. Print type is underscore married. Now, as you can see, we've written down these print statements, but nothing has happened. What we're going to do is run this script. So there's two ways you can do that in PyCharm. You can either click the play button up here, which will run this file, or we can right click and hit run. So that's what we'll do, run. And here's the output. We can see that print type name has output class string. str string. So str is how you declare string in Python. Int for integer, we know that because the number here. The third one is float, and the last one is boolean. So to wrap it up, in this example we use the type function to determine the data types of our variables. As you can see, Python automatically assigns the appropriate data type based on the value assigned to the variable. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video on variables and data types. In the next video, we'll explore operators and how to perform basic arithmetic and logical operations in Python. So yeah, keep practicing if you wish, and I'll see you in the next lesson.